Well, as I told you in my previous video, that going further, we would be talking about interview questions. And again, interview or interview, it's one of the same thing, right? The American people tend to pronounce it interviewer, right? Or interviewees. Anyway, so the first question we are going to deal with is this. Tell me something about yourself, right? Now, what we need to see, as I told you in my previous video, that every question has some objective. So of course it is nothing but introduction, right? But you need to see what kind of introduction do we need to give here, right? Why am I saying too much right? Okay, I will not say that word right anymore. Okay, I'll try not to do that. Okay, so here the objective of the question is to show. Hold on. First, let me tell you this, that this question can be asked in multiple of ways. One is this, like, tell me something about yourself. The same question could also be asked as, take me through your resume or take me through your profile. So that's also nothing but that's going to be your introduction. But mostly you'd be mentioning things that are already mentioned on your resume. So is the case even here. Besides, at times the interviewers ask you differently. That is, tell me something about yourself which is not mentioned on your resume. So there it gets a little trickier, right? But again, you need to understand the purpose of the question. Here, what you have to do is you have to show your you have to show your fitness, right? I mean, how fit you are for this job profile. So that's what is the main objective of the question. But look at people around you. I mean, your college friends when they appear or when you appear. So when I'm saying you, I'm not. It does not like mean particularly you. It's about the general college students or general candidates who are freshers. They don't have any experience and they go and appear in any sort of job interview, whatever industry you might be going in. Now, let's say that you are going to appear for, cabin crew interview, and this is the question. Tell me something about yourself. What do you think you'd be giving as the answer? Well, as you know, I mean, let me give you a sample answer that what you might hear from the people around you, from the candidates around you. Well, as you know, my name is Krishna. I'm from Delhi, and I did my schooling in 2012. Then I did my college degree from DU in 2014, and then I went for my master's and so on. But why would you say that for cabin crew interview? You would not, right? Again, but this is how we generally go about it, don't we? But that's what we don't have to do. Because now, see, as I told you, the purpose, the objective of the question is to prove your candidature, to show your fitness, that you are completely a fit. I mean, not physically a fitness here. It's like you are fit for the job. You are the most suitable guy for the job. That's what you have to prove. And how do you need to prove that? Through your introduction. So for that, you need to be careful for the content that you are sharing or you are saying during that interview. And see, be it for aviation industry, be it for telecommunication, be it for, let's say engineers, be it for other jobs or other professionals, when most of them they give a very generic answer like, okay, my name is this, I'm from this place, I've done so and so things academically, and then these are my hobbies, talking about my family, my father is this, my mother is this, I have two siblings, and so on and so forth. Now tell me, while giving all these pieces of information, are you showing your fitness to the job in any way? Of course not, right? I mean, what would the interviewers or what would the interviewers do knowing all these things? I mean, of course, two parts are really like kind of okay. That is, one is your name, another your qualification. These two things really matter. But the rest of the things that he was saying, does it make any difference just to fulfill this? Is it anywhere helping you to show your fitness for this? Now, you might be surprised a little bit if I told you this question is nothing but why should we hire you? I mean, you need to show your fitness. You need to prove your candidature that you are indeed one of the best guys or the best guy who has applied for this profile. And that thing begins from the very same thing. Now, see, let's say you are attending a wedding ceremony, and there may be some relatives, some friends of friends that when you are introduced there, or when you are told, see, give an introduction, what kind of introduction would you give? Your name, where are you from, about your family, and all these. So there, that's perfectly fine because there you have to, just like identify yourself or display your identity, who you are, where you're from, who all are there in your family, what do you do? That's it. You don't need to talk about, what skills do you have, what talent do you have, right? So that would do. But why do we go for the job interviews and we say this kind of generic introduction? So, in order to show this fitness, what you need to be mindful for is the content. And again, it's not content, right? It's not content, it's content. You have to raise your voice here. So, well, right now the point is that you need to be mindful about the content that you are sharing or that you are saying during that job interview. That is the most important thing that you have to be really careful for. So now, how could you show your fitness? Of course, see, when you talk about your qualification, yes, that's relevant. That's significant because every job has some eligibility criteria. You need to fulfill that, and as a result, you are sitting there on that job interview, no doubt about that, right? So qualification is something, but is that the only thing that you need to be hired or you should be hired? So this introduction is not a personal introduction. I'm telling you again and again. This is very much a professional introduction. And what is the purpose of this introduction? To show who you are. And that is with respect to the job that you are applying for. So qualification, yes, that we do. Then you would go for what? Your skills. Again, you may have multiple skills, but you need to mention only the skills that are relevant. Only the relevant skills you need to mention there. Apart from skills, there could be some other things like, your personality trait, which are, supportive to your professions, right? Because, I mean, some jobs need you to be really hardworking. Of course, almost all the jobs, but some jobs do require that rigorously on a greater like level, that you have to be hardworking, you have to be quite talkative, or like not talkative, but yes, you have to be really good at communication skills. And now, how good you are, that could be shown when you talk to the interviewer. It's not just something to say. Of course, it is something to mention, but at the same time, the interviewer can easily assess if you're really good at conversation or communication skills. So you need to, focus on these two main things. And besides this, if let's say your hobbies are going to contribute, right? Okay. For example, let's say you're applying for a job that needs traveling and you are fond of traveling. So that is kind of giving assurance to the employer, to the interviewer, that yes, you are the guy who is going to love this job because you like to travel, and we need somebody on the job role who is willing to travel, who is willing to, explore places. Of course, they're not paying you to go and explore places, but since the job needs traveling, job needs you to go out of the city, right, or at different places at different time. And if you can, bring it, then yes, it's something that's going to help. Sometimes you would see that the interviewer asks you randomly some very weird or strange kind of questions. Do you have any girlfriend? How many girlfriends have you had? And so on and so forth. See, such questions are asked for two purposes, right? One, it has got something to do with the job, which you do not realize when you answer, right? Let's say you say very happily that I've had, multiple girlfriends, 4, 5, or 10, or 12. That means you are not loyal, or you are not stable. That is the personality characteristics that the interviewer is going to assess. And you'd be like, this question is just as a part of fun? No. Sometimes, maybe that question is just for the sake of fun. Because when the interviewer has asked you everything, and now they know, they have made up your mind either to hire you or to, not or not to hire you. In that case, they just want to, pass some time kind of thing. Just they want to have some light, fun conversation. Then yes, they could bring such fun questions or such weird or unexpected questions. But mostly, they ask you, they have something to assess. They want to reach at some conclusion. So again, let me summarize this way, that you have to show your fitness for your that you are the most suitable guy. So your introduction needs to be given that way. Now, you must be wondering, or you must be expecting that I should give you some sample answer. Well, I could give you that, but this is not something to memorize. Why? Because every industry, every job profile needs different set of skills. So what do you need to understand? See, when you talk to, when you talk about your name, do you need to say this? Well, now this is something not for entry level jobs, but what I'm telling you that is going to help you going further. For some job interviews, even those simple answers that people are giving, that my name is this, I did my schooling, high school, or like my graduation degree in this year, there are these many members in my family, they do so and so forth, these are my hobbies or my interests. Even with these answers, you could see people are getting selected. Yes, indeed, they are. But that's not the right way to do. Then you would say, if it is not the right way, I mean, if it is not the correct way, why they're being shortlisted? Because that kind of job profile, all they need is the people should be presentable, or they should be good at conversational skills, especially in the BPOs, or especially in the jobs where you need to interact with the people. So there, or like for writing sort of jobs, they're like, okay, we don't need that higher level of presence of mind or that skilled professionals. So they take it for entry level jobs. But let me tell you, this is not a generic introduction as we do it during our school days, in the class, at some, on the street somewhere, if some program is being held. This is a different introduction that you need to produce. Yes, to show your fitness for the job. So, should I keep it here, or do you want me to give you a sample answer? Well, here, of course, you are willing to, but I'll do that in another video for sure. Right now, here, let me add one more thing. Sometimes, what happens when you just enter into the interviewer's cabin? You would see the interviewer is busy and turning to the pages of some files, or they're looking at something. They are not looking at you all the time from the very starting. So when they ask you this question, of course, you need to be, you need to start it a little differently. You could add something like, well, it's very difficult to introduce myself in a couple of minutes, yet let me try. Well, I don't think I can introduce myself completely in a couple of minutes, but yet I'll try to, sum it up. Or, well, as some wise person said, what's in, there is nothing in name, or what's a name? I think that William Shakespeare said this. Now, see, this is a little different thing that you are doing just to grab the attention of the interviewer so that he or she could start looking at you. Does everybody need to do this? No. Do you need to do it everywhere? No. Or every time? No. Only if the interviewer or interviewer is not paying attention, he or she is busy in something. So there you can say something just to start a little differently so that the interviewer could listen to you. Oh, well, this guy had something unique, something different. So that might work, right? I've seen that work in one that happened to me. I will not share that experience because otherwise this video is going to be way longer. So understand the objective, show your fitness, how you're going to show that. Qualification is one thing, but that's not the most important thing. Here, even when you mention qualification, you don't need to talk about your entire schoolings and all. The last qualification, which is the most relevant, and if there is any other certification programs, other diplomas that you have done, which you think are quite supportive, or there would be an add-on for that job profile, do mention that. though you have mentioned it on your resume, but yeah, do mention that, because yes, when the interviewers look at the resume, they might not go through properly. There's just a skimmer through. So yes, that will help you, to put yourself on the top. And then the most important thing here is the skills or other like hobbies and interests, if they are supportive to the job profile. For the sample answers, I'll make another video and you can check out that, right? That's all for today's this video. Thank you so much for coming here and watching this video. Have a good day.